Hi, I want to talk about Aggretsuko. If you haven't heard of Aggretsuko, here's the gist of it. A portmanteau of aggressive Retsuko, this is the new Sanrio property turned miniseries by Netflix. It follows Retsuko, a 25-year-old red panda who works a thankless office job in Tokyo. She's outwardly quiet and shy, kind of a pushover, often saddled with extra work and verbal abuse from her literal chauvinist pig of a boss. At the end of the day, though, she's able to vent all her rage and frustration by screaming death metal at the karaoke bar. Your basic cast is Retsuko herself, Feniko, a fennec fox who's fairly deadpan but a great friend, Haida, a hyena guy with a crush on Retsuko, and other various office workers and friends. There's a lot to like about this show. It's cute as hell, it's funny, it's relatable, it tackles sexism and gendered expectations that women in Japan face in the workplace, it portrays female friendships as important lifelines for adult women, it explores women's anger and frustration in a relatable way. It's good. It's really good. There's a lot we could talk about. But I want to focus a little today on one particular aspect, how Aggretsuko handles relationships and dating in a pretty mature and nuanced way, especially for anime. So, spoilers for the final little arc of the Netflix show. About halfway through the show, discouraged and frustrated with work, Retsuko decides that she wants to find herself a husband and become a housewife, thus escaping office life forever. She joins a yoga class to try to lose a little weight in the hope that this will help her achieve her goal. This is where she meets, arguably, the best characters in the show, Gori and Washimi, two women with higher-up jobs in the company and the baddest bitch walk in the office. They quickly take Retsuko under their wings, becoming something akin to older sister figures for her. They warn her about putting all her eggs in the matrimonial basket, but Retsuko remains largely undeterred. After being dragged to a singles night, Retsuko meets Risasuke, and things get rolling. Risasuke, the space cadet as he's called, becomes her boyfriend. They date for a while until it becomes apparent that Risasuke simply isn't giving as much to the relationship as Retsuko emotionally, and they break up. Here's a few things I love about this arc specifically. 1. Haida's reaction to it. Haida is well established to have a crush on Retsuko, and when he finds out about her getting a boyfriend, he handles it with, well, maybe not with grace, but with goodwill. He knows it's kinda his fault for never saying anything to Retsuko about his feelings, and while he's upset about it, he never makes it her problem. He's never mean about this, or tries to make Retsuko feel bad about having a boyfriend, because he's a good person. 2. The portrayal of Retsuko when she first falls in love is adorable. It's the kind of over-the-top puppy love with pink hearts and rainbows everywhere that is normally reserved for teen girls, and having this woman in her mid-20s so enthusiastically Twitter-pated is refreshing and funny and cute, and not something we often see in media. 3. Gori and Washimi's reaction to the relationship is really good too. They can see the cracks in Retsuko's relationship before she can, worrying about how quickly Retsuko has fallen in love, worrying that Risasuke is not being very attentive to her, and while they try to help her see those cracks, they don't push her and they stay supportive. They don't want to make her feel bad about this relationship, but they do want to help. And 4. At the end of the relationship itself. Risasuke is not a bad guy. He's not a jerk. He's not mean to Retsuko or her friends. He doesn't demean her or her interests. He's not controlling. He's not abusive. All the red flags that we know are red flags are absent here. His problem is just that he doesn't engage with the relationship on the level that Retsuko needs. I think showing this relationship as it is, not toxic but just unfulfilling, is an important message. Especially for women in their 20s, especially for women who have been single for a long time, especially for women who really, really want a relationship and think having one can solve something wrong in their lives. It can be very difficult to separate a relationship that is genuinely good and one where you become complacent with being unfulfilled as long as it's not outright abusive. Showing that a relationship where you can just play at being happy, not because the other person is a monster, but just because you're a bad fit for each other, is a relationship that should end, is something that isn't often explored, but is very positive and good to show. Retsuko wanted to be married, wanted a husband so she could quit work. Risasuke was inoffensive and, fine. Just fine. How easy would it have been for both of them to just settle? How simple to just play the happy girlfriend and ignore everything else. But Retsuko doesn't settle. She realizes that she's having to hide part of herself to be with Risasuke, and that he isn't giving her what she needed. And so the relationship ended, which is mature and normal and healthy. She chose being herself over being a girlfriend, which is really good. In an extra bonus, this breakup gives Haida a chance to confess how he feels, but here is the part that I like so much about that. He admits that the Retsuko he really likes is actually a pretty idealized version of Retsuko, and that what he really wants and really needs to do is learn more about the real her. All of this is such a refreshing change of pace from the types of romance we typically see in media, especially in anime, and it's very emblematic of how Aggretsuko handles basically all of its content. It doesn't lean too heavily on established anime tropes or troubling, problematic portrayals of idealized romance, and instead, it manages a genuine sense of relatability and realism to these adorable little chibi animals. Now, I don't particularly think we need to be taking dating advice from Sanrio characters, but I do like that this is the route the show decided to take. It's refreshingly modern and kind of progressive. It's good, is what I'm saying. It's really good. And yeah, so that's my rant about Aggretsuko and why you should watch it. Thanks for listening to this queer millennial feminist rant about things that I like or don't like for any given amount of time. I always appreciate it. Like and subscribe, of course, if you want to hear more of my videos. Do the normal YouTube stuff. Leave any comments below if you have any questions or comments you want to add, and I will see you next time.